morning.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you for this day and time, for covering and keeping us, paving the way for us to be here safely. We ask that you continue to bless us on this day at this time, Father. Open our hearts and minds to receive those things that you would have for us. And we're going to continue to stand on your word and go along with your commandments and trust and believe that you can lead us where you would have us to go. Thank you for blessing our pastors on this day. Every member of Faith Tabernacle, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen. Our lesson today is we Old Testament, and it's called Rahab and the Spies. And this is a very good story right here. It's going to come from Joshua chapter 2, verses 3 through 9, verses 15 and 16, and verses 22 and 24. It skips a lot of things, but pretty sure we can feel that in. Our golden text reads, "Truly the Lord hath delivered into our hands all the land, for even the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us." Now, what is happening here is that Israel is crossing over into the land that was promised to them, and along the way, they just annihilate everyone that's in their way. And they're not just because of them, it's because God told them to be strong and of good courage, courageous. Told them to be strong because no matter what happens, whatever is before you, I'm going to take care of it. He's giving the children of Israel his word, and he stands on his word, that it is true. Even today, when we go out on assignments, when we go witness, whatever we're doing, we are to be strong and courageous, because we know even though the opposition may be there, he's taking care of that. He puts you in that situation so you can overcome that situation. And not only that, he puts you in places where other people can be saved. Now, this was interesting right here, this story, because we're going to find out that one of the most unlikely people in her family was saved because of her belief. As I read, it was said that, it was read where it said that only happened twice, that they could think of, well, that was recorded. And it was, one was, I can't remember her name, but it was Rahab and, was it Ruth? Or, I'm stuck there, but we'll get back to it. Because of their faith and their belief and their trust in God. Now here it is, this woman right here, I'm jumping ahead a little bit just to give it a synopsis. This lady right here wasn't even an Israelite. She wasn't even an Israelite, but she had something. She had faith and belief. And that is total. Huh? Was it Esther? No, it wasn't Esther. I don't think it was Esther. It may have been Esther. I'm going to find it. And then forgive me for leaving us out there. All right, so we're going to go into the lesson. It says Rahab and the Spies. As I said before, that God had already promised them a land. And my aspect of this is, on this lesson, is this, that when he sent out the spies, God was going to make sure everything that was going to be his was cleared out of there. This was a divine intervention, just like with the story of Peter and the was it a centurion that was praying, and Peter went to his house when the angel came and told him to go to the house of that Italian, and because he had been praying, but he was not a Jew, but God saved him based on that. And this lady right here, she made some deal, with the Jewish spies, because of her faith and belief in God. Okay, so she trusted God, their God. Good reader, nice reader, wonderful reader. Would you please do 3 through, go ahead.
And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which thine house, for they be come to search out all the country. And the woman took the two men and hid them, and said thus, There came men unto me, but I was not whence they were. And it came to pass about the time of shutting off of the gate, when it was dark, and the men went out. Whether the men went out, I want not, pursue after them quickly, for you shall overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof of the house, and hid them with the socks of flax, which she said laid in order upon the roof. The men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fords. And soon as they which pursued after them were gone out, they shut the gate. And before they were laid down, she came up unto them upon the roof. And she said unto the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you.
Mhm. So here it is that the story is that Joshua had sent two spies to go scout out the land before them, so they could know what they were going to come into. And immediately upon them coming to this strange land, people that were residents of the land recognized this. They don't belong here. They must be up to something. So we're going to go back and tell the king. But like I said earlier, this was basically to me a reconnaissance and a reconnaissance and a way of going to get his people, God's people out, those that believe. Because Rahab had believed, and he was going to, and she made a deal afterwards with the two men that were that she hid from the people of. I am not there today. Okay, here we go. We'll start again. So it says, and the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, for they come to search out all the country. So they knew what was going on. He had already sent. Yeah, he had already sent some men. He had got the report that two men were here, and they are not of our origin. So they're here for something. So he says, let's go get them and bring them to me. I know where they are. They went to the Rahab's house. And why would they just go to her place?
Because Rahab's house was a place that
That must have been the place that the men go when they come into the land.
Yeah, it was one of those places.
Mm-hmm.
When you say real, it was just like a place in the cowboy days.
Rahab was what you call a woman. In modern terms, she was a pimp back in back then. Rahab was the madam of the time, and men came to Rahab's house not only for pleasure but for information, because men are known to talk
At particular times
when pleasure is around them, and they like to brag and boast. So the king would know that they would go. Only place they could go is Rahab's house, that they could be welcome, because everybody else didn't know them.
Exactly. They went to the place where they knew they would be welcome. But they definitely should have known, and they would have known that someone recognized that we're not here. Because it says immediately upon them being noticed, these guys ran back to the king and told him what was going on. Go ahead, Ray.
But everybody that would come into that town will end up at Rahab's house. Not just because of Jesus. This is the place you go. So outsiders were I don't want to say targeted, but, and see, it's funny that God was sending them to Rahab, because Rahab wasn't saved. She wasn't saved.
But she might have been praying or something else.
Yeah, you know.
Because
She done heard of what God
she
had
had heard
done.
everything they've done, so she may have been praying. It doesn't say it, but she may have been praying but we have to look at the fact that when she did come upon them, she started making a deal with them. Because she had heard she said, we know what your God has been doing. Okay. I know what he's been doing. And the whole country is in fear. Because you all have been just devastating everyone along the way. So she made that deal with him, but I think I jumped ahead, but yeah, we know who she is. That place, like you said, is a place where they all go. Every stranger, men that come in town, wind up at Rahab's place of property. And it was in a location that was close to the mountain or something like that.
Yeah, it was mountain and river.
Yeah, so it was in a place where it's, I guess if you had ships coming in or something like that, where they docked, the men would go there. So that was an easy access place right there. Verse 4 says that the woman took the two men and hid them and said, thus, there came men unto me, but I wist not where they were. And it came to pass about the time of shutting the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Whither they went, I know not. Pursue after them quickly, for he shall overtake them. So when he sent the word to the back to Rahab, the men back to Rahab, the question where these men are, she said, they were here, but I don't know where they went.
Right.
So that goes back to the town was like in our time. If you think of a cowboy movie, it's like a fort.
Yeah,
And once they close the gate,
yes.
you're stuck inside until they open the gate. And so they knew that they was inside.
Yeah.
But nobody saw them leave, but they saw when they came into the gate.
And the only question, what it looked like, the only question Rahab, about that.
She said she wasn't there.
She said they weren't there. But see, she already had her plan. She had already had her plan, because I guess I know when she knew who they were, I gotta find a way to get me and my family out of this situation. Because the destruction that they were doing, they were killing men, women, and children by God's order.
But it doesn't say who was the keeper of the gate.
No. But they had one, right? At a certain time, it always closed, that dark. Huh?
They're scared.
So you don't know if it was the king's man or the town's man.
Right.
Well, at this point,
They don't know if they got out before the gate closed.
right, they don't know that. And they don't know, basically, see, and that would be something, if you're a keeper of the gate, you don't know what strangers are coming in and out. But then, how big was this city, though?
Big.
So could you recognize everybody that was a stranger? It ain't like probably just those two came in. It could have been those two with a bunch of other people that came in.
But now you said recognize. Remember back in the day, you knew who didn't belong in the projects.
Yeah, in my particular building.
Right.
I know who they were, but the other buildings, I don't know nothing about that. So your surroundings, you would be basically familiar with it. But like I said, if this was a big bustling area,
Commerce.
yeah, you don't know. You know it's gonna be strangers, but you don't know which strangers are the ones that's
Supposed to be there.
yeah, the spies are not. They just came in. They didn't come in, with coat, glasses, hiding and mic. No, they didn't come in like that. They came in like everybody.
How they know that they were coming to spy?
Yeah, but they knew somebody was coming to spy, because these guys ran back and told the king. King knew something was coming. He knew something was coming because they ran back and told him. There's two guys in number. Let's just say it like this. These dudes look a little bit more different than the other people that's been coming in here.
Or the other people, they got used to them come trades. They leave and come back, So there's some two people that we never seen before.
Right.
Walked up into the gate.
They look a little bit too suspicious.
And they weren't carrying no goods.
Right. The way that their appearance. So it looked like they up to no good. They looked like they come to spy some stuff out. That was bad. Yeah, because if you was a spy, how did you get caught that quick?
Right.
You're not a good spy.
Mm.
So she said, now, and then she, now here's the thing. This woman told a fib. I didn't know who they was, and I don't know where they at.
Yeah.
God don't honor that, do it.
She's a heathen.
Huh?
She's a heathen.
Wait a minute, he gonna honor heathen lives?
Yeah.
Is that what it
Lord
was?
have mercy.
He has mercy on who he has mercy.
Exactly.
At that time, she could have easily said, well,
I'll turn them in.
right. The king gonna look after me, he gonna take care of me if I turn him in. But then she had to recognize that who is more powerful? Because I know what this king is that I'm sitting under what he's been doing, but I done heard the stories of your God.
Yeah.
And I don't want to mess with him. I don't think anybody want to mess with him because he's all powerful. And remember what he told Joshua, I'm gonna treat you the same way that I treated Moses.
Or you part of the group that's terrorizing the land. See, if she knew who the spies were, part of Joshua's truth.
Yeah.
They've been killing everybody that they've been coming in contact with and taking over the land. So she said, they gonna come take this place. I might as well get on their side before they take it.
That was
So
her
what
plan.
happened to Gibeon last week?
Yeah,
Gibeon made a deal with
make a deal.
Joshua.
Yeah. And this is what she did. She made a deal. And here's the thing, with the spies going over and God being for them, they didn't have to listen to her. They could have said, we ain't making no deal with you. God gonna get us out of this anyway. They could have did just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, We got faith, we know God gonna take care of us. We ain't worried about them. No, they were human beings.
Yes.
And they had compassion on this lady. And they told her.
And she spared their life.
Hmm?
She spared their life.
And here's the thing. See, they said she spared their life.
Yeah, but
But we don't know the divine intervention that took place when
Right.
God
They
sent
don't
them there,
yeah,
to save her life.
right,
Exactly.
exactly.
See, that's how they didn't see it like that, but if you read it, that's what it looked like. God sent them there to save
Her life,
her life and her family because God made her prayers, maybe she had prayed, and it came before God.
Plus, her ancestry will lead up to Jesus.
Her ancestry.
Yeah.
She was a Jewish woman.
Yeah. So she married
Was she Jewish?
Solomon. No, she wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. What were you saying? That's good too. All right, so now we know that she told a different story to the men who came to seek out the spies. Verse 6 says, but she had brought them up to the roof of the house and hid them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order upon the roof. And the men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fold. And soon as they which pursued after them were gone out, they shut the gate. She sent them in a different direction, and she went upstairs and started talking to them. Time to make a deal.
Yes.
Time for I did something for y'all. Time for y'all to do something.
She was excellent at making
Okay.
deals.
Oh yeah.
She's an entrepreneur, so she knew how to deal and deal.
She was something, that's for sure. She was something. So she done sent them out, and they out there running, doing what they've been doing. They just running after the spies, running. For about 3 days, they running. You ain't gonna find the spy, because you ain't looking in the right place.
Right.
She deceived them.
Right.
Deception was one of her,
Man,
okay, one of her main gifts. And the men pursued after them in the way of Jordan, in the folds. And they pursued, and verse 8 says, and before they were laid down, she came up unto them unto the roof, and she said unto them, to the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land. I know that the Lord, so she done heard it, and she believed. Because they hadn't possessed the land, even the ones that were coming over weren't really sure. They weren't really, but she said, I know he gave you the land.
And they know that it was on the other side of Jordan.
Yeah,
Let's go from there.
yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Huh?
The people of Jericho knew that Israel was on the other side of Jordan.
Yes, yes. That's what she said. I know they got,
Yeah.
she believed,
They gonna take over this land.
yeah, she believed more so than the people that were over on the other side,
Right.
believed that he was gonna bring them over. You know? Because they were still under the impression that, you brought us out here to be destroyed, you know?
No,
But this was a
they died
different
off.
generation.
Yeah, they died off.
This is a different generation.
Joshua
And
generation.
they had the, just like a lot of people today, have the, I believe what I see faith. When it's too bad, it's too rough, and it's too hard, and I don't see an end, then there's a problem there.
I don't believe.
I don't believe it. I don't know how it's gonna happen. Instead of saying, God already got the plan in fact, so this is another step I'm taking to get to it. No, it's defeat. That's not a good courage.
But teacher, could you say, I'm just throwing this out here.
No.
She was playing both sides.
Yep.
Because she didn't let the king know that she trusted God. And she let the king know that she knew where the spies was at. So as far as the king knew, she was still with him. And the spies believed that she was with them.
Yeah, she played both of it.
So she got a win-win situation going.
That's something to weigh. That's something to weigh. But I'm looking at the fact that when you know that the outcome was this side, I wouldn't say you was playing both sides. I said you running from defeat and running to victory is what I would say. You know, but I can understand what you mean by that. You know, because you just stuck. If you see, if it was a chance that the king could have beat God, then yeah, you're playing both sides. There's no way the king was gonna beat God. No way. So that's why she did what she did. Because had it not happened, according to what you're saying, king would have found out and beheaded her.
Yeah.
Killed everybody in her family.
And
Right.
no guarantee that Joshua was going
Right.
to hold up to his end of the bargain either.
Right, and that's why she was hiding. I mean, she was covering herself not only for their sake, but for her sake. Because if the king would have found out that she was lying to them,
Yes,
the
sir.
whole family.
Yeah. But apparently she knew they was gonna get away, and she knew they were gonna come back based on this statement.
History.
I know what she said here. I know the Lord has given you this land, and that your terror is falling upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. So everybody's scared of you. You know, at the name of Jesus, everybody's supposed to be falling to their knees. All the demons, all those that comes up against you.
but you know what that tells you also, teacher? That Joshua and them was cutthroat. They was doing, they was wicked. They was killing everybody. They wasn't even nobody.
Right.
They
Saying
were,
what God sees.
Righteously
God was wicked.
indignant, basically.
kill them all. Don't leave none.
God told
And
me
he
to
had
do
a
it.
purpose behind that too.
Huh?
He had a purpose behind that too.
God said because he didn't want nobody else to rise up, you know,
That same spirit.
that same with that demon spirit, you know.
So
That's why I said
fear
kick
in
it.
the land.
That's why I said kick it out. That's why we have problems today.
Yes.
There you go.
They didn't kick it all out.
We done kicked all the prayer out the church, out the schools. They done kicked all the discipline out the house,
And what
the
you
discipline out the school.
What do you expect?
So now look what do we have?
Chaos.
We have chaos.
Wild West.
Wow. I just read today on the news, I just heard it on the news today, you know, you just had 3 young men running around up in Paul, you know, robbing. You can't walk the streets no time of day or night no more.
You got another post person that they robbed.
Yeah, robbed her. She doing her job, delivering mail. And you're gonna walk up and rob her. So this is where we are now with this chaos right here, you know. So that same principle, if we were living by that, it'd be a lot of people, a lot of young men, and a lot of young women. And, I mean, also 3 young women,
Yeah.
carjacked them. Yeah. Look at how it is without discipline.
Yeah. That order.
No order whatsoever.
And what did he do with them?
At that time, when I heard that, that I said, I wish that dude was Bruce Lee, the little Asian man. The mindset is just gone.
And then they clear pictures of girls, somebody know who they are.
The reason why so many people doing what they're doing is because what's the repercussions that they receive?
Nothing.
That's it.
And what's the report every time that something happens? They still investigating.
Always.
Nobody's in,
Always. All these high def cameras you got, all these pictures, don't nobody know nothing. Ain't nobody seen nothing. Even you, if you could track somebody, they could track somebody in Saudi Arabia right now,
Yeah.
a man in a house from space satellites. So you got that technology. You only use it when you want to use it for whatever reason you want to use it, But
Right, and then we got the laws that if you underage.
that's why a lot of them are doing that. That's the main thing I was talking. And then look at the thing with you see all these people running here stealing these purses. Anything that you steal under $1,000 is what? Misdemeanor. Misdemeanor is $100 fine. So now you got all these snatch and grabs. You go in the store stealing stuff, and
that's organized crime.
that's all it is, So there's nothing that
Nothing new.
nothing new under the sun. So now we skip down. I'm sorry, we just running away from this. Now we're skipping down to verses 15 and 16. There was some verses in between that where he was making a deal with the spies. 15 and 16 says, then she let them down by a cord through the window, for her house was upon the town wall, and she dwelt upon the wall.
Yeah.
And she said unto them, get you to the mountain, lest the pursuers meet you, and hide yourself there 3 days until the pursuers be returned. And afterwards ye may go your way. 3 days.
3 days.
What do that mean then?
Why 3 days?
What do that mean? That means she furnished them with victuals.
Yes.
Victuals, whatever they call it.
Bills.
They had food and water. You can't live without food and water now. And some extra clothing because it probably was cold in the mountains and stuff like that. They were able to have for 3 days with her help. So definitely if the king,
models that they didn't know about.
yeah, definitely if the king found out about that, you're gonna be beheaded, sister. See, you treacherous now. But look at what the risk she took to save her life and her kid and her family life.
Yeah.
Who else did that? Though I may perish.
Yeah, Esther.
Esther said, though I may perish.
Yeah, let it be.
Let it be, because her mission was to save herself and her family.
The Jewish nation. Yeah.
That was her mission right there. I'm gonna say no matter what it takes,
Because I know. She had to lose.
Yeah, because she know the destruction that was gonna come when God people come in. So we'll wrap this up. Do 22 to 24 for me, Deacon.
And they went and came unto the mountain as she told them to, and abode there 3 days until the pursuers were returned. And pursuers sought them throughout all the way, but found them not. So the 2 men returned and descended from the mountain and passed over and came to Joshua the son of Nun and told him all things that befell them. And they said unto Joshua, truly the Lord hath delivered unto our hands all the land, for even all the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us.
They scared to death, man.
Yeah. Where you get that information from?
Joshua, those people over there trembling because they know
What we're gonna do to them.
the wrath of our God.
Yes.
So yeah, and they came unto the mountain and abode there 3 days until the pursuers were returned. And the pursuers sought them throughout all the way, but found them not. So the men returned. So
obedience.
Yeah, after this, it's a short story, but we have to understand that the mission was already accomplished. So for some reason, God had told Joshua that the land was theirs, but for some reason, Joshua sent 2 spies out. He already knew the land was there. He didn't have to go do it. But like I said earlier, there was a reason for that. And that was to go save that one. To save that which was God.
Yeah.
And at that time, Rahab and her family was God. Because Rahab had understood it. Apparently she had prayed. Like I was saying earlier, the Italian who was praying, God sent Peter to his house to save him and his household. So we could take it upon ourselves to believe that the God that does everything encompasses everything, because he wants no one to perish, right?
Yeah.
It says that in his word. He don't want no man to perish. You know, it spoke about there are many people who were not Jewish that he saved.
Yeah.
Because they believe. And now the believers are engrafted into the Jewish, with the Jews.
Yes.
You know?
But you know,
We are.
the story doesn't say that. See, the king, it says that literally they were literally going to give the town of Joshua. And the way that they're saying it at the end here.
Yeah, no choice.
But the king didn't send in no reinforcements, no nothing to defend the land. So either he knew something too, or he was afraid of what he done heard
Yes.
Joshua and them did as they moved forward.
They all knew. She said, we heard what y'all did over in Egypt. How God delivered y'all from Egypt. That was somewhere.
That story from.
That was some 80 years ago, prior to that.
Right.
So the word had been going around that this God, this true God, this living God, is not playing with his people when it comes to his people. He's protecting them.
Yeah.
He had promised this land to Abraham.
It was there already.
Yeah. He had promised it to them years ago. Now it's time to possess it.
Yeah.
Because this generation right here, they have shown that they're going to walk with my commandments. They're going to be obedient. And they're going to do what I tell them to do. So yeah, I'm going to give them the land that was promised to their fathers. You know, with us, heaven is promised to us if we be obedient.
Right.
If we go along with the
plan. Yeah.
with the plan, we go along with the commandments, and we do as Jesus said. You know, that's all we got to do. It's all about being obedient when it all said and done. I am done. Thank y'all so very much.
Yeah.
Yes.